travel from Britain and back this morning. The Philippines and the United Kingdom have been enjoying diplomatic relations since the mid-1940s. And as we celebrate the Philippine-British Friendship Day on October 20th, the British Embassy here in Manila has lined up several activities that sure will highlight the distinct culture of these two countries. And to tell us more about this, we have in the studio with us British Ambassador to the Philippines, Asif Ahmad. Good morning, Ambassador, and welcome back to Daybreak.
Well, good morning. It's always good to wake up with you here in Daybreak.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Now, kamusta ka na?
Mabuti at ikaw.
Mabuti din. I mean, the last time I spoke with you, you were telling us about you were watching this Filipino movie. And then, it's been a year. Kamusta na? Sigurado ako na mas fluent ka ng magtagalog ngayon.
Di fluent, pero unti-unti mapahusay ang wikang Pilipino.
Unti-unti na. Di ba? Sige. That's what we love about you, Ambassador. At least you get to speak our language. It's been almost a year since you've been assigned here in the Philippines. Give us the highlights of what the year has been for the British Embassy.
It's been such a fantastic year. There have been so many things. I'm almost losing count. On the positive side, more than 50,000 people from the Philippines have now visited the UK. That's 24% up on last year. We're now seeing not just continuing our position here as the biggest investor from the European Union in the Philippines, but the big story of this year is the Philippines investing in the UK. The third largest investment ever by a Filipino business will be sealed at the end of this month when Emperador buys White & Mackay, a Scotch whisky company. This is a 32 billion peso investment. Now, who would have thought that this would be the destiny of the Philippines coming into Scotland when Scotland is such a topical issue? Then you have the other things that we've talked about before, the fantastic response of the British public to Typhoon Yolanda.
Yes.
100 million pounds. Topped up by the government. So we end up with something like 14 billion pesos, 1,300 of our military personnel and aid people working here. And we're just about sunsetting that work. And then fun. It's not just more fun in the Philippines. We've learned to share the joy with you as well. And that's why I think, the job is great. And when people see me, they see a smile on my face. It's because I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing here.
Well, that also brings a smile to our face, especially on October 20th. That's the Philippine-British Friendship Day.
Yes.
Now, when you first arrived in the Philippines, you did talk about stronger ties between our nations, our shared visions. But what do you think is something that we can be proud of about our relationship between our two countries?
Do you know what we can be really proud of? Is that we talk to each other as equals with respect. It's not some situation where we think that the Philippines has something that we can teach. We learn from the Philippines. And the other thing is that we can ask the Philippines difficult things. What's your view on climate change? How do you think the regional security is going to pan out? What are we going to do faced with the threat of terrorism, with Ebola? We're having a conversation. Can the Philippines help? Can they work with us? What does that mean? That means that it's a mature relationship. It's a mature relationship and it's a close one. I can walk into the Malacanang and I can make a special request to the president. One thing I'm guaranteed is that I'll get a hearing. Now, not many people can just simply walk into a president of a country and say, please, can we work on this together? So that's what I like. And then on a very, very ordinary level, I was in Tacloban just a few weeks ago. I met a lady called Yolanda, would you believe? She had lost her identity papers, etc.
Okay.
And through a project that we were doing, we were able to restore her ID. Now, what bigger gift can you give to somebody than to give them their name back?
Yes.
And here we were. So, from the Malacanang down to a small barangay in Tacloban, we're connecting and doing things.
Now, with this particular event on the 20th, what activities do you have lined up for that?
Well, we're greedy. We were originally given just one day.
Yes.
We said, well, we can't contain it within a day. Can we have a week? Last year we stretched it to 5 months.
Yeah, I remember. You talked about that last year.
It's getting worse.
So now it's not 5 months now?
No, it's 7.
It's 7 months.
7 months.
Oh, and I heard it's not only here in Manila. You're also extending your activities to other parts.
Yeah, in January we'll go to the Visayas. But we kicked off in September. We showed National Theatre live. It was so successful that we're going to do it again, even within the great campaign this year. So Frankenstein will be shown. Then we kicked off with British fashion. So throughout this whole month and into November, people can shop and get discounts from all the leading British brands.
Really?
Twice-
Discounts, huh?
yeah,
I heard
discounts.
discounts, shopping.
Absolutely.
Nice words, huh?
Yeah, and last year we had 10 or so companies. This year we've got close to 20. This is what I mean. Things are not just improving; they're just leaping forward. But we do something each year, which is we kick off with giving something back. And my good friend Bobby Ocampo and I, as part of the British Alumni Association, people who studied in the UK,
Yes.
we're going to go to a Gawad Kalinga community in Taguig, and we're going to put on our old clothes and repaint people's houses.
I see.
We did something in the PGH hospital last year, reading stories to children. So that's our kickoff. Our kickoff is with the community. But then we're going to do things like golf. We're going to do things like gathering people with British cars so they can show off what they've done to their cars.
And you're also planning on bringing in some British personalities, right?
Yeah, because we're very fortunate, because what has happened is that people who are coming here anyway, like Andy Murray and One Direction, they've said, well, maybe we like this great campaign idea as well, so maybe we can have a share of that. We had the same thing with all the performers here already. Jessie J, when she came, she was quite happy to be associated with a great campaign.
Yes, and this great campaign, which will last for about 7 months or
7
so,
months.
and this will last until about March of next year,
Yeah,
right?
the big finale.
Now, how can one be part of this particular campaign?
It's very easy. You can follow us on Twitter at UK in the Philippines. You can follow us on Facebook. If you do that, you can basically use the hashtag #IamGreat, and by just doing that, you're already joining. But all our events, except the ones in the cinemas, are free. So you just turn up. Go and shop. You might win the competition to travel to the UK and complete your shopping there. We'll pay for your airfare. We'll get your a bit of shopping money. But if you can't go all the way to the UK, you can come and shop here. If you're into horse riding, if you're into golf, if you're into food.
Definitely many activities lined up for this great campaign, right?
Yeah, I mean, last year, the one thing a lot of people said that when we had our festival in the Bonifacio High Street, they said, we'd love to have some more British food, more drink.
So that's what we'll be expecting.
Yeah, we're going to
this
put that
time.
on too.
And it will expand to the Visayas as well, to Cebu, my hometown. So that's great to hear.
We're coming home.
Well, thank you so much, Ambassador Asif Ahmad, for joining us this morning. As I mentioned earlier, it's always a pleasure to have you with us here on Daybreak.
Good to see you.
And that was British Ambassador to the Philippines, Asif Ahmad.